Oh, I have to tell you the story of Leona. We went over to the little store area, a market area, and the Rudahigwa, the king, was there, and Dad went over to talk to him because he knew him well, and he talked to him a while, and then I don't know exactly, but anyway, pretty soon the king came over to Max and he said, "Your daughter kicked me." He said, "She what?" Said she kicked me. Anyway, so he thought that was funny. He was very fond of children, but he had none. So he was not unhappy to be kicked. When he died, Rutahigwa died in Bujumbura, in a hospital somewhere, and they had his funeral in the Catholic Church in Nyanza. And we went to the funeral, and it was really quite interesting because the police were in the aisles of the church with their guns, and didn't seem like much of a religious service, looked like something else, but they still don't know why he died. He was in the hospital when he died, but he just went in for a visit and keeled over and died, so they didn't really know why, but we had seen him several times. Dad saw him many times. And then when trouble came to the country a little bit more, and the king's mother, the Umugabi Kazi, the mother of the king, called Dad and said, "I'm going to be leaving the country. It's not safe for me here." And so he had visited her at her home and stuff, so she came and spent her last night in Rwanda in our home. But what Dad said, what I can't understand is she's not worried about her people. She's worried about her cows. Cows are your bank account. And her husband had been dead many years, so her son was the king. And he was very nice. But I think we've got a picture of him just outside our door at our house. But he's very tall. The Tutsi people were very tall. Got this book, and I just started it, but when there was the war and the Hutus were killing off the Tutsis, I don't know, they do anything to fight, don't they? And well, once we decided we were going to go through and see the Serengeti, and it was a vacation time, so we started out, and there was a school, an Adventist school, and we knew, but I can't remember now who they were, the one who was in charge of the school there. We stayed there, and then the next day we decided we were going to go into the Serengeti. We had started in, and started out, and the car stopped and got stuck, I guess, or something, and we were trying to get the car going, and looked around and hear all these animals watching us. And but we were too close for them to get to us, so anyway, but you knew they were there. Yeah, so you've been through the Serengeti, so you know it can be. Anyway, so, well, they told us we shouldn't go yet, but then they said, well, go ahead, it's okay. Well, we did, and then we got stuck in the sand or something. It was very sandy. So then Dad got malaria, I think from being near the animals and all the mosquitoes and stuff. He got malaria and was quite sick when we were in Nairobi. but pulled out of it. You ever get malaria? He and Renee got malaria too. I don't know whether Roderick ever did or not, but I know they two did. And one other thing I never like to forget to tell people is that Dad came from a safari. He'd go out and see the people in the churches and go around. And he went on this safari and came back and he said, you know where I was last night? And I said, no. And he said, well, I stayed at a Catholic mission because they were happy to have us stay there. Yeah, him stay there. I didn't go out. And he stayed with this Catholic priest in the home. And so he said, you know what he told me? He said, I don't understand. He said, we come out here and the people don't change. You people come and you change their lives. And I've told other people and they said, that's why we go. We want them to change, And he mentioned they don't drink, they don't smoke when they're Adventists, but they do when they're Catholic. And I've told people here and they said, that's exactly why we go. So, but I don't think we had a bad reputation, I think people respected us. We respected them. I remember at that time I was a little taller than I am now, but not much. But anyway, I was going down the road and the girl who took care of Rusi used to take care of the twins. Anyway, take care of the children she came out and she said, well, my mother's here and she's going down that way. I said, well, she can ride with me. So I don't think the poor little old lady had ever been in a car. She got out and she had to, like I get into this one, she had to climb into the car. And I think she was quite thrilled with the chance that she had to ride in the car. But I like Gitwe, I think, was the place that I liked the most. But we were there longer, probably, than any other place. Up in the Congo, when we were up there at the last. And that was, we were right near an academy for we had a pastor from the United States who came, and I think he was president of a union or something, and Dad said to him, what would you like to see while you're here? He said, well, I don't want to see animals, I want to see people, and I want to see Adventist people, and I want to see churches. Well, Lowell then was about 16 and was driving, and he would go out to help the people build the bricks that they were making to fire up and then build their church. And he said, would you like to go and see the church? And he said, oh, yes. I said, we would. So Lowell took him out there. Dad wasn't along. And he came back and he said, this has been the most wonderful day. He said, I've seen the people working and they're building their own church. They're doing what they should be doing. It's wonderful. And Lowell was thrilled to have done that, When you're 16 and take a president of a division out, or whatever. I remember, but he was a bigwig, but I don't remember who. And South, somewhere, Alabama or somewhere. Anyway, but Lowell felt like he'd done a good deed. So, well, I think so often when we came home and we stopped in Cairo, and they said, well, what do you want to see? And what do you want to see? The world's big. Anyway, we went out to the academy there in Cairo, and that was nice. And then we rented a boat and we rode on the Nile for the kids. You get 6 kids on a Nile sailboat. That's kind of fun. And then we were leaving the next day, and we went from there. We went to Greece, and Dad said, "Well, I think we should go up to some of these big churches up at the top of the hills here in Greece. After all, it's notable to have seen." So we went up there, and we got up to the top of the hill, and the kids said, "Well, why did we come here? Who wants to see old dead buildings?" We had a lot more fun on the Nile. But the Nile, to us, we had watermelon for the first time in years, and we had things that we hadn't had for a long time. So they loved the Nile, being there. There was one worker there in Cairo, in the Adventist. He was from Cairo, but he'd been here at Andrews in school. I don't know who he was, but anyway, we saw him, and he took us to the museum, and we saw. Well, he said, "This is something I want you to see." He said, "Look at this basket." He said, "I think this is a basket like they made for Moses in the water of the Nile, because it's tarred, and he said it'll float." And he said that's probably what Moses was in. And I thought, who cares about all the rest? If you can make it relate to Bible times, that was good.